But part of success is learning how to deal with failure. Hello, my name is Delano Lewis. I want to talk to you not about success today, but about failure. Many of us don't like to dwell on that. It can be a very depressing subject. But part of success is learning how to deal with failure. When things don't go right, when really you've set an objective for yourself in the company or in your personal life or in your dealings with other people, and somehow it goes wrong. What happens when you're faced with failure? The key is you must muster inner strength, not to become depressed, not to succumb to that obstacle, but to overcome it. You really need to develop a game plan. Planning is so important. It was important as you were dealing with successful activities, and it's even more important when you're facing a failure. I had worked hard at C&P Telephone Company of Washington, D.C., which was one of the 22 operating companies of the old American Telephone and Telegraph, AT&T system. And after divestiture, it became Bell Atlantic. And I was a vice president for Bell Atlantic for DC operations. And I was in charge of regulatory. And those of you who are in a regulated business know that you go before a regulatory commission. In this case, it was the District of Columbia Regulatory Commission. And this commission was really not that friendly and supportive of public utilities. That was gas, electric, and telephone. But my job, and I was the initial rate case witness, I had to go before the commission and lay out why we would need to increase rates so that we continue to provide the capable, valuable service to our community. So that was a big deal. That was my job. We spent volumes of putting forth recommendations for rate increases. We had to show our expenses. We had to show our costs. We had to show what rates will do in relationship to the costs, because we wanted to give in return on the investments. So it was a big job, and I was the rate case witness. So we went before the Regulatory Commission back in 1993 and presented our case. These usually sometimes could take a month, laying out your rate case relief request. You put on witnesses, you put out all of the data, and you expect to get rate relief so that you continue to provide the kind of services that your customers are expecting. Well, in this case, we've heard the decision was been made. We were all anticipating the rate increase, and I came out with a 0 rate award. Can you imagine being vice president in charge of regulatory operations for the major private employer in Washington, D.C., when you've got 3,000 some employees? You need rates in order to provide the services that people come to expect, and you get a 0 rate award, which says that this commission, made up of 3 commissioners, decided that you would not get any rate relief. Well, this was a kiss of death. This is not only a real failure, but this could be a loss of job situation, because that was my job. So what was I going to do? I didn't become depressed. I sat back and began to develop a plan. I had public affairs, I had public relations reporting to me, as well as regulatory. So I came together with the senior team and I put forth an idea. I said, we need to go public. We need to let our customers know how valuable an asset we are to this community. We pay millions in taxes. We provide thousands of jobs. We give money to charitable organizations. We are a strong economic force in this community. The public needs to know it. And we were treated unfairly. I didn't say the rate increase was too low or too high. We got zero. This was extremely unfair in my judgment. So we must go public. Now, there were some persons on the team that said, oh, we don't do that. That's not what a company does. You don't go out and talk about your business in the public. And then you're going to take the risk of a Public Service Commission coming back at you with a backlash. And I said, no, I think this is something we should do. The public needs to know. We need to put down how much we pay in taxes. We need to put down our support of the city in terms of charities. We need to put down our workforce. We need to put all the data out there of why this increase was needed. We license our trucks. We are the private's largest employer in the city. Our customers need to know this. So we did. Down in the lobby of our main corporate building at 1710 H Street, the cameras came rolling in, and I stepped forward to the platform and laid out our case to our customers to say that this largest private employer, this company, had been treated unfairly by the District of Columbia Public Service Commission. I am facing failure here. I am facing maybe a job loss, my own job. I had to take action. We laid our case out before the public. One of the things I had in mind was that the mayor at that time, Sharon Pratt Kelly, was a former executive of the electric company called Pepco. So she knew about rate regulations. She knew about its value. She knew about business. And she was now the mayor of the city. She also knew that we were an important force in the city and that she would probably need to pay attention. Well, my hunch paid off. We got on the front page of the Post in terms of our case before the public. And within hours, I got a call from the mayor's office. And I said, Mayor Kelly, what do I owe this honor? And she said, Del, listen, what can we do to get you off of the front pages of the Washington Post? This is not very good. And I said, well, we need to have our case reconsidered before the commission. Now, I don't know exactly what she did or did not do, but we did get a call that we should come down and re-petition before the Public Service Commission. And my hunch is that our strategy worked. My hunch is that we did make our case before the public. And our mayor at that time felt that maybe the commission should reconsider. But she couldn't make that decision. The commission had to do it. So we did go back before the commission. We did petition for rate relief. And several months later, we did get a measure of rate relief. That story is one that you may face, because you may face failures in your business life, or you may face failures in your personal life. And the moral of this story is don't get depressed. Don't really get down about it, because failures are part of success. You've got to develop a game plan, develop a plan of action, make one that works. Well, we did that, and we were very successful, although we had to meet failure right in the eye. Until next time, we'll talk further. Godspeed.